Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to Adam McKola TV. I am Adam. We are back. This is the preview for Newcastle United against Manchester United. Manchester United going into this on the back of 10 away games without a victory. The latest one, a 0-0 draw against AZ Alkmaar in the Europa League. United haven't won on the road since that victory against Paris Saint Germain in March 2019 when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was caretaker manager before he got given the job on a permanent basis, and United's results seem to spiral out of control. It's not the same squad as it was back then, but there are no excuses for the results that Manchester United have been on since that victory, and the away performance and the away results and the away form is not good enough. The worst run since 1989. That's the year I was born. I have never seen a run this bad in my life, and this time it's pretty bad. And we go to Newcastle, Steve Bruce's Newcastle. They're under pressure as well. They can't buy a win at the moment. There's a lot of pressure on Stevie Bruce's head. It'd be typical Manchester United turning up to Newcastle and letting them turn us over, wouldn't it? We've got all the team news, the predictions, my thoughts ahead of the game, and I'll be answering your questions as well as we look ahead to Newcastle against Manchester United, which is Sunday this weekend. So we've got the Saturday games to come, and then Manchester United will take on Newcastle, 4 o'clock kickoff. So looking forward to this one. Of course, I'm always looking forward to games, regardless of what the results are. I get this stupid enthusiasm and excitement for games again. I don't know why, because I'm always disappointed when the games come around. But Manchester United are obviously taking on Newcastle this weekend, and we need to win. It's as simple as that. We need to put a stop to this away run. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and everyone after the game against Alkmaar were pretty happy with the result, and I don't mind the result, but I was baffled by the suggestions that it was a good performance, because it was nowhere near a good performance. 0 shots on target is not a good performance for Manchester United. No matter who we are facing, we need to be delivering better than that. And quite frankly, I feel there needs to be more of a demand for performances and more of a demand for these players to deliver for Manchester United. Because whilst, yes, it is a transitional period, whilst, yes, we know that we're not going to win the league or whatever, but you still want to see demands for wins, you still want to see demands for success, and you still want to see that pressure being put onto players. Now, a lot of these players are younger players, fair enough, that's understandable, but coming out after that, and a lot of players that played that day were experienced players. You're looking at Lindelof, Rojo, you know, De Gea was in between the sticks, Matic, Fred. The performance wasn't good enough. And I feel like, yes, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has to balance between you know, criticising his players in the press, which we don't want him to do, because we've seen how that can turn under Jose Mourinho. We don't want him to do that. But the impression I even got from the sidelines, from Ole and Carrick speaking with the players, it was really baffling. And we need to see pressure on these players for performances. Yes, the result wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't a bad result in the grand scheme of things. But there needs to be a better intent for better performances there. We need to see signs that we're working on things on the training pitch, that we're actually, you know, trying to work in patterns, trying to create chances, because it's far too easy for teams to sit back against Manchester United. And Newcastle will try to do that and probably try and hit us on the counter-attack. They'll try and soak up the pressure from Manchester United, hit us on the counter-attack. They'll have a home crowd behind them, and they might win. That's the thing, it's too easy for teams to sit back and soak up the pressure against United. Rochdale, Astana, Alkmaar, whoever you are, if you just sit in, nice and compact, nice and organised, you'll find it easy. United won't break you down, and, you know, we'll rely on a set piece or a bit of magic. Frankly, we need to be creating more opportunities, and we'll be without Paul Pogba yet again this weekend as well. It looks like Paul Pogba's missing, Luke Shaw's missing. Wan Bissaka may return. The reason he was away was illness, so I'd expect Wan Bissaka should still be available, but there's no confirmation on that yet. But you look at Pogba, Shaw, Martial, definitely out for Manchester United, and Jesse Lingard as well seemed to pick up a muscle injury against Alkmaar, so he's another player that will miss. And when I was trying to do my predicted 11, it was difficult to do. I was trying to think, like, who would I play in this game? Who is going to play in this game? Who can play in what position? Because you're looking at it and there's no Pogba. That's a problem in the midfield, no matter what you say. That's an issue in the midfield area. And then you're looking elsewhere. You know, Fred, did he perform well enough against Alkmaar to keep his spot in the team? I'm not sure he did. So you're looking at these things and you're thinking, we're possibly going to go into this game with a Matic and a McTominay centre midfield partnership. And that is very slow, very cumbersome. Will he call upon someone like James Garner? I doubt it, but it's a possibility. Without Pogba, with Fred being out of form, unless he's going to give Fred another opportunity to impress against Newcastle, you know, the options that we have are pretty thin on the ground at this moment in time. I'm going to read out some of your comments now as well. Let us know what you guys are thinking in terms of where we will play players and who will start against Newcastle United at the weekend. Manchester United go there with no away win in 10 games. 10 games without an away win. The last away win was in March 2019, so we're looking at 7 months ago. Jesus Christ. Kevin's in the comments, Joseph's in the comments, Gary's here in the comments as well. Kevin says, seems like an absolute tapping of a win, but nothing would surprise me at the moment. Seeing the forms of both teams, they might just both lose somehow in a world first. Fresh from the Best says, draw is a decent result considering it was a hockey pitch and we had half of the youth playing, says Joseph. Draw isn't a good result, mate. Well, in a group stage of a European competition where you've got 6 games, if you win your home games, draw your away games, you go through. So in that regard, it is a good result. As much as I loved Ali playing, hate to see him utterly clueless as a gaffer, says McKola. We need an away win, says Joseph. 2-0 it should be, says Mr. Games indeed. Bad Brad's in the comments. Joseph's in the comments. Anyone else in the comments? Need Pereira to play in the number 10, I think, says Kevin Lowry. Thinks Pereira will be given the opportunity in the number 10. And he actually isn't in my predicted 11, which is interesting one. Maybe I should have picked him. Maybe Ollie will pick him. He wasn't used against Alkmaar, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. I can't remember if he came on as a substitute because the game was so forgettable. You could just forget it like that because it was such a poor game. Nah, he wasn't used. So who knows, maybe he does get used in this game. Maybe, just maybe, but wouldn't count on it. Winning this won't change the mood, says Lewis. Look, I think one thing people need to realise is when we got rid of so many players, Alexis, Smalling, Lukaku, Herrera, Fellaini, Daley Blind over the years, like just recent years. Yes, these players needed to go. Darmian, for example, as well. Yes, these players needed to go, but we needed replacements. We didn't get these replacements this summer. And if you look at the squad, I don't know what many people, what did you expect in terms of results now? I expect better in terms of performance and tactics and, you know, seeing some sort of development and some sort of improvement in the way we're playing and the players that are playing as well. That I definitely agree with, but I don't know what people kind of expected. Like in the Europa League, we've won all our games, we've gone through in the domestic cup competition, and in the league, yes, we should be beating Palace at home. You know, we should be winning those games, but frankly, like drawing against Arsenal, drawing against Wolves, drawing against Southampton, those are like results that you could see coming with this team. I've been saying it for a long time. If we had injuries to strikers or midfielders, we're fucked. The injuries came early doors to Pogba and Martial. Once those injuries come, we had no creativity, no goals. Rashford hasn't been in form. If he's in form, you can get some goals and you maybe get through a game here or there. But ultimately, the lack of goals and lack of creativity is hampering us. That is quite clear to see. People that continuously say this team has failed so many times, or Jose got second with this team and it was his greatest. This is not the same team. Like what are you like looking at? Like this is not the same team as that team. It's a completely different team. And what has happened is what we wanted to happen in terms of a lot of players getting moved on. We wanted to see some youth progressing into the first team, but we also wanted to see a number of signings being made. Half of those signings were made, if that. When you look at Wan Bissaka and Maguire, we still needed 2 or 3 more signings minimum, and those didn't come in. If Ollie made them, I'd be more inclined to jump on his back. He hasn't, so I'm more inclined to think he needs another window. But having said that, we also need to see signs of progression on the pitch, tactically, in the players, like I've been saying. And at the moment, we haven't been seeing that. We haven't been seeing results either. And you can get away with it if you're performing but the results aren't coming, or you're getting the results but the performances aren't coming. You can probably get away with it, but you can't when you're not getting either. And we're not performing and we're not getting the results at this moment in time. And in order to get that time and get to the window, you need to get the results. So if we continue to lose, and we lose this game against Newcastle, we lose against Liverpool, he will rightly be under pressure for his job, because the run that we've been on since he got it is disastrous. And I said it at the time, I wasn't sure whether he should have got the job. It was a massive risk. But what I do believe is that he would have done a lot of work that the next manager would have had to do. Whoever would have come in would have had to do this, get rid of a lot of players and bring in a lot of players. And it would have taken a season of rockiness to, you know, see progression in the end, because you need 2 or 3 transfer windows. But you also need results, like I've been saying, and we just haven't been getting the results. Any more comments? Come on, guys, get your comments in. Arvinda talking bollocks, mate. Shut the fuck up, man. Babyface Assassin says need 2 midfielders, left back, winger, and 2 strikers. That's just that. We're good defensively. Rest is crap youth. You can't trust to be consistent. We haven't seen that. We have seen that. That's true as well. When you're playing younger players, you have to expect them to be inconsistent, unfortunately. Of course, you want to see signs of quality and want to see signs of, you know, the quality that actually is in there. I think we've seen that with Greenwood. We haven't really seen that in the first team with Tahith Chong, and hopefully he starts to show that if he's given more minutes in the near future. Brandon Williams coming in showed a good, you know, first start for the team, and a little substitution appearance that he had as well. James Garner, he'll probably get his opportunity soon. Twanzebe, when he's been given his chances, he's looked good. So you're looking at these players that we are implementing. Angel Gomez has shown glimpses, but not enough. He's not, you know, performed for 60, 70, 80 minutes of a game. He's performed in flashes. So we need these players to obviously show signs of progression as the season goes on. But we are implementing. You look at it, Twanzebe, potentially James Garner, Brandon Williams, Mason Greenwood, Tahith Chong, Angel Gomez. We're introducing those 6 into the first team as it stands. What comes after that? You know, we need to make signings, experienced players, and also quality, proven quality coming in. Busby says people appreciate Martial more now. They have to. He obviously scored goals throughout his career at United. I'm sure if he wasn't dropped for Alexis in the season, in the January we signed Alexis, he would have got 20+ goals that season, and we probably would have seen the season where he really broke through and settled as a footballer. But as of yet, we need to see that, and hopefully when he comes back he can continue where he left off, because he was looking like kind of clinical in front of goal. He got a good couple of goals. I think he was on 3. What happened with 4-3-3? Iman says, why is everybody insisting with the 4-2-3-1? I agree as well. I'm fed up of seeing this 4-2-3-1. It's pretty frustrating seeing it. I don't think... Look, I think his hands are kind of tied by the fact we haven't really had 3 midfielders fit and in form at the same time. Pogba is either been, you know, unfit or out of form. McTominay has been performing consistently. He's had games where he's dipped out of form and stuff, but he's been performing to a level consistently. Fred, not fit or not in form. Matic, neither. So we haven't really had 3 midfielders where we can pick 3 midfielders to go in there. Maybe if he introduces James Garner in, we could potentially see him come through. Bad time comes to every team, part of football. We need to keep calm and support, says Anshuman in those comments. Keep your comments coming in as well, guys, on Adam McKola TV. We're discussing, obviously, Newcastle versus Manchester United and everything coming up. United to win 4-0, says Danny. He's pretty confident of a Manchester United win. A 4-0 win as well, he's saying. Bloody hell. What's the deal with Martial and the injury, though? You can't trust a player like that that's got an injury. Don't get it, mate. Solskjaer was injured a lot. Does that mean you can't trust him? Babyface also says they think Garner is the most promising youth player in the United team. Does Garner make my 11? He doesn't, unfortunately. I don't think he will start. But this is my 11, providing Wan Bissaka is back from illness. Obviously, no Paul Pogba, no Luke Shaw, no Anthony Martial for this game, no Jesse Lingard either. So I'm thinking we may see an 11 that looks something like this. Now, don't shoot me. I'm just the messenger, but this could potentially be the 11 that we see. David De Gea in goal, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Axel Tuanzebe. Now, Lindelof played while Maguire was rested. Tuanzebe didn't play midweek in the Europa League game. Is that a sign that Axel's going to start this game? Possibly. Then we've got Brandon Williams continuing at left back. If Luke Shaw isn't available, I don't see a point in playing Ashley Young there. Unless you're going to play Delo, which is a potential, but then again, I'd rather see him used as an option at right back. Play Brandon Williams. I don't think he did badly against AZ Alkmaar at all. Showed a bit of fight as well. Get him in there. In that midfield, unfortunately, Matic, McTominay, Mata, a very slow, a very cumbersome midfield. But without Pogba, without Lingard, Angel Gomez probably not going to start this game, having played against Alkmaar. Fred didn't have the best, nor did Matic have the best of games. I'd rather see Fred start, but this is my predicted 11, and I think we'll see Matic start. Then I think we'll see Rashford, Greenwood, and Daniel James. That's the team I think we will see against Newcastle United. Remember, if I had it my way, it wouldn't be that, and we'd hopefully have a few more players fit as well. But that's the 11 that I've gone for. What's the 11 you guys are going for? Get your comments in the comments below. Rashford shouldn't start. He will get injured. Says no. We look like we don't have a choice. Mata can play very well at times. Kevin, I hear what you're saying. I like Mata. I just think he's very slow. The good thing is, against Newcastle United, there's a big pitch that might leave a little bit of gaps for him, and he can manipulate those gaps and find the runs. If we allow Newcastle to come out onto us, I'd be confident of Mata being able to pick out Daniel James, Mason Greenwood, and Marcus Rashford. Without Jesse Lingard, who has been out of form, so he hasn't created much anyway. Without Paul Pogba, we're lacking serious creativity. So we got to hope that Juan Mata can deliver today. Against Newcastle on Sunday. Or will it be Angel Gomez? Will he get another goal in that position? We saw Angel Gomez, Mason Greenwood both start against Alkmaar. Possibilities there. Kevin thinks we'll see Ashley Young at left back. I have a feeling we'll see Tony Marshall off the bench, says Busby. Martial did post on Instagram about returning soon, but I imagine that Ali's not going to risk him. We've got Liverpool coming up after the international break. He's probably going to allow that to come and go, and then decide on whether Martial's fit. What you don't want to do is rush him back. He doesn't perform. We have an issue then with him getting injured again, and then we've got no Martial for the rest of the Christmas period or whatever. So we need to make sure that he's fit when he does come back. We don't want any more of these muscle injuries. We've seen Paul Pogba. Well, Paul Pogba was his ankle, wasn't it? Was it? I can't remember what Paul Pogba's injury was. But Paul Pogba's injured. Jesse Lingard was a muscle injury. Martial's injury is a muscle injury. Rashford's was a muscle injury. So we don't want any more of these injuries coming in. Mikhail thinks we should still persist with Fred. I just think this is my. If I was making a decision, would I play Fred? Yes, but I don't think Ali will. I think he'll go for Matic and McTominay. Unfortunately, I'd like to see Fred and McTominay, but I don't think we'll get that this weekend against Newcastle. Is there anyone we're particularly fearing from Newcastle this weekend as well? Obviously, there's no more Rondon, no more Rafael Benitez there. Obviously, playing under Stevie Bruce at this moment in time. No more recognised striker. I think they've got Joe Linton at the moment playing up top for them. Brazilian hasn't done very well for them so far this season, but typical of someone to grab a goal against Manchester United and cement their place amongst the crowds. Let me see who they got. Oh yeah, they got Alan Saint Maximan. I forgot about him. Matt Ritchie. Andy Carroll's back there. Jamal Lascelles. Fabian Shaw still there. Ki Sung Young. They've got a few players that you think, oh, they could possibly do something. But they've lost Ayoze Perez. They've lost Solomon Rondon. They've lost Rafael Benitez. Sean Longstaff, he may be injured for this game, but he obviously plays for them as well. Been highly thought of and linked to Manchester United an awful lot. £50 million movie was linked with Manchester United, so sure that he'll come in and try and have a good performance as well. That man Dan says he wants to see David De Gea, Wan Bissaka, Twanzebe, Maguire, Rojo, Matic, McTominay, Fred, Mata, James and Rashford. That doesn't look too bad at all. Ali has become so apprehensive since he's got the job, playing with two DMs or ridiculous playing with. I totally agree with you, and I think, I don't know if for sure if it's like there's a clear pattern in it, because I haven't done the research myself. It's probably something interesting to look into, but I do feel since he got the job permanently, he has been a little bit more apprehensive. You know, pulled back a little bit, not been so clear cut. But again, we've had a lot of injuries, so it's hard to say which one is which. Which one is which? Do we think United are going to win this weekend? I've probably predicted us to win half of the away games that we've played in recent. I know I didn't predict us to beat Wolves. I didn't predict us to beat Southampton. I don't think. I may have predicted us to beat Southampton, but I don't think I did. Are we going to win this one? I predicted us to beat Alkmaar. We didn't. I'm going to say yes. I don't know why. I'm going to go with a cheeky 2-0 United. I just think Newcastle are so much worse than us at this moment in time. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them put a performance in and actually, you know, do something for once. But especially like if you look at that midfield, McTominay and Matic starting, what have we got to gain from that? Not a lot really. No creativity, no movement, very static. If it was me, I'd play Fred. But I think Fred's performance against Alkmaar is probably going to reflect badly on him playing in the next game. Voldemort, Shelby, John Shelby. Probably play like Scholes. Yeah. Shelby, you mean, yeah? 1-0 Rashford penalty, says just bring it. 1-1 says Odegaard. 2-1 says Iman. Any more predictions? Guys, keep your predictions coming in ahead of the game. I'm going 2-0 Manchester United. I'm going to go with Greenwood to get his first Premier League goal, and Danny James to get his 4th goal of the season as well and become our top goal scorer. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? So I'm going to go 2-0 to United. Turger's going 3-0 to Manchester United. Let us know what you guys are saying about the game in the predictions and in the comments below. Get your predicted 11s in as well. That was my predicted 11, not my preferred 11. So please don't shoot the messenger. But that has been the preview for Manchester United Newcastle, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, we'll have reaction from over the weekend as well from the Newcastle Manchester United game. There'll be loads of stuff on Full Time Devils as well, so make sure you're keeping it locked to that. But for now, I'm Adam McKola, and I'm out of it.